Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in on a Friday installment of the program. Glad you're with us. Our new drug today is we are 2 days away from a really special day at the bank, honoring a special, special man, honoring the past, honoring so much good the Jaguars have had, and oh, by the way, the present trying to get a big win. So we'll certainly talk about that coming up today on the program. Gators tomorrow night at home. Noles tomorrow night at home. Both might lose tomorrow night at home. There's always that possibility. So we're glad you're with us on the program today. I do want to tell you, both of our shows, both Helmets and Heels and Prime, I thought did a terrific job from the Jim Furyk. So good, Furyk and Friends Consolation Classic. It's a fantastic, fantastic event. Played at Timuquana. It's a Champions Tour event. And it's great having it in town, and I know Jim and Tabitha and their folks work so hard at it, and I'm glad we had 2 shows out there, so it was good to have them out there for a while. So good day all the way around today. So
without a doubt, it was fun hearing Paul Goidos and Tom Lehman and some great interviews.
Do you remember when Goidos almost won here?
Absolutely,
wasn't it fantastic?
He was hilarious.
I don't know if he came on. Were you on the show yet? What year was that?
No, that would have been like 14.
Okay, you were on the show. Yeah, but he came on the show on Monday.
Oh, wow.
He almost won. Sergio beat him. And he had the Long Beach, he had the Dirt Dogs with the Long Beach, like the baseball hat. He played the whole time in it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a sponsor. He said, I wear a hat I like. No one sponsors me, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then he came on the show Monday after. It was really cool.
Gary Smits had a hilarious blog for that players because for the final day, he did like the pairings and he had like kind of a comment for each, guy in the group. And for Paul Goidos, it was, looks like he should be a Ruby Tuesday bartender.
That's exactly right. I remember that now. Doesn't he? That was absolutely perfect. So you're exactly right. All right, so we got a lot to do today on the program. We'll talk some Jaguars. We'll visit with the coach in just a second. But also some college football coming up today as well. It really is. I was thinking about this today on getting ready to do the show. There are so many intriguing weekends because you're hopeful they're not losing weekends. Now, the Jags, it's a different story. The Jags have struggled, but they've been good at the last year or two coming into this, except for the end of last year. But I can't ever remember this many times turning on in my career, Hays, this many times turning on the mic and talking about an FSU and Florida game and hoping they don't lose. In our careers. How many times? Turning on the mic, and again, the NFL is a different animal because the NFL you could lose any week.
It would be interesting. Yeah, you're right. It would be interesting to know how many times, like in the last 30 years, both Florida and Florida State have been underdogs at home on the same day.
Oh, I'll bet you.
It's got to be count them on one hand.
A home underdog on the same day, and what's your time period?
30 years.
I'll bet this might be the first. It's home underdog on the same day, going back to the 90s, have to be the first.
It would have never happened in the 90s.
Yeah. Home underdog on the same day would have to be the first. I'll bet you. Now, when you go back to the 80s and 70s when they weren't necessarily good together.
Yeah.
But
they've had some lean years lately.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe it's happened.
I guess you're right.
I'd be surprised if it's the first time, but I would be surprised if it's like more than 5 times it's happened.
The Mullen fired year, FSU wasn't any good either. So maybe you're right, but not very often.
Not very often.
So, I can assure you it hasn't happened very often, if at all. So,
how often has Florida State been a double, 2-touchdown underdog at home?
I'll bet you never in the Bowden era. I'll bet you never in the Bowden era, which lasted forever. A double-digit home dog. I don't think even when Jimbo's teams weren't good, I don't think it happened then.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of points.
a double-digit home dog.
Yeah.
So not.
And this is 14.5.
Yeah,
this isn't even really close to single digits.
So it's really amazing. So we'll talk all that. We got a lot of college football to talk, a lot of stuff to get to. But as always, we started with Jaguar talk. Doug Pederson always kind enough to join us on Friday programs. I usually catch him a little bit earlier when he's on his way home, and we record it and we play it back for you, so you give you the opportunity to listen to it. So Doug Pederson, moments ago, joined me to talk about the upcoming game with the Indianapolis Colts. All right, time now to talk a little Jaguars football. The head coach, Doug Pederson, joins us with Frank Frangie on a Friday afternoon. Doug, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Frank. Thank you again for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, big weekend here. I know you know Tom Coughlin and all that's happened here, and I know you understand the heritage of this place. I know you're excited about this too, and I'll bet your players are about finally getting home for a fun weekend, aren't they?
Absolutely. We've been on the road for the last 2 weeks, and we had a long, week with the Monday night game and then a short week down to Houston. But we're excited to get back home and be in front of our fan base and look to get back in the winning column.
Doug, this has been it's so close, and I know finish is the big thing, and not just with our team, but all teams. But what do you say to your players? You're an eyelash. You've led 2 games in the fourth quarter. You've lost 3 games by like 12 points. I know you're close, and that's frustrating. What's the communication like between you and the players, given all of that?
Yeah, obviously coach talk is, we got to finish better. We got to, make plays, and that's kind of the coach speak, and that's what we talk about during the week. But, really bottom line, Frank, is we just got to go out and do it now. I mean, we've been in position to make plays. We've been in position to create some takeaways. We've been in position to score more red zone touchdowns, and now it's just a matter of just going and doing it. And really, I think too, you got to have the mindset where enough is enough. You got to get a little bit ticked off, I think, obviously about where we are. 0-4, and get a little take it personal, and that's kind of been the message the last couple of days.
Doug, it's look, we all know, and it's widely known, and he knows too, that Trevor's missed some throws in the early part of the season. That's not a secret. And I know it's killing him too. I know it is. You're a quarterback's guy. What do you say to a quarterback? Because it's in there, but he has missed some throws. I don't think we know that. What do you say to a quarterback? How do you coach a quarterback in those moments?
Frank, it really, I think it's really a simple. I say simple, but it could be difficult. You just got to keep shooting. I think you hear some of those great NBA shooters. They're gonna take 3-pointers and they're gonna miss their fair share of 3-pointers. But you know what? They keep shooting.
Yep.
And that's what you got to do with Trevor. You got to keep putting the ball in his hand. You still got to really kind of force him to keep throwing the ball down the field, and eventually those things are going to happen, and we're going to complete more of those balls, and we're going to feel a lot better about ourselves.
A lot of good things happened last week. Ventrell Miller and Monteric Brown have both been called into duty. You've had a lot of injuries on that defensive side of the ball, but those guys have stepped up. I was really impressed with Ventrell and Monteric, and a lot of young guys have had to play and have played pretty well, I think, Doug.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Frank. And, Buster Monteric, he might be playing the best football on defense right now, player for player. And we just need more of that consistency, more of that type of play. When you watch Buster, he's in the right position. He's there to make plays, and that's what it's about. And he might not, be the most talented guy on the field, but you know what? He plays smart, and he plays savvy, and he knows where to be. And Ventrell's kind of the same way. Ventrell's kind of got that energy. He flies around, makes plays. He had some really good tackle for losses last week, and he still has some things to clean up. But really impressed with both of those 2 young players.
Doug, what do you see with the Colts? Obviously, you play them a lot. You play them twice a year. And so you guys are familiar with each other, like everybody in the division. Let's start with defense. What do you see when you look at the Colts defensively?
Yeah, it's a typical Gus Bradley defense, right? You can go all the way back to his days in Seattle when he was a coordinator there, and obviously when he was a head coach in Jacksonville, and places like that, the Vegas Raiders and stuff. It's a bend but don't break scheme, and he's not a guy that's going to try to trick you with a lot of disguise. He just lines up and play, and their guys play extremely well, and they play extremely hard. And that's what you see on tape. No matter who's in there, no matter if it's the starters or they're missing some guys too on defense. If it's their backups, then those guys are playing hard. And then you look offensively and. Not sure who's going to play at quarterback yet, but I would anticipate that maybe Joe Flacco goes, just listening to some of the reports this week. But hey, you got to be prepared for both. Anthony Richardson is a big, strong, physical guy with his legs and has a cannon for an arm, and then Joe Flacco can beat you from the pocket, which we found out last year. So you got to be prepared for both, but. It's a great opportunity. We know them. It's a division AFC South opponent, and look, we just got to go take care of our business and focus on us and see what happens.
Oh, and I know you will, Doug, and I appreciate you spending some time with us. Look, enjoy your night tonight. We'll see you at the ballpark on Sunday. It's a special day for Jaguar people. Throwback uniforms, and do you like the unis, by the way? Do you like the uniforms? You like the way they look?
You know what? I do. I love the way they look. I love that Jaguar on the sleeve, and obviously I'm going to say congratulations to Coach Coughlin, and it's a great honor to him to be going into the Ring of Honor there in the stadium and to have a bunch of former players come back. It's going to be a great weekend.
There's no question about it. Doug, good luck on Sunday, man. See you then. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Frank.
Doug Pederson getting excited about it's good to be home. More than anything else, they get to play a home game. It is a special day, and these players and these coaches know how special Tom Coughlin was to this franchise, the impact he made. Whether they were around then or not, it doesn't matter. By now you know. It's going to be a fun home game, and hopefully the Jags get that first win. Let's hope that happens. We'll take a break. When we come back, Hays has Raphael Esparza. What are the best plays of the week? For the betting people, what's your play? That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
It's just the Jags and the NFL.
That's all I ever think about.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony bring you Jaguars Today.
Exactly.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studio.
Let's do this, shall we?
10 to noon on
1010XL.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Rascal Flats. Life is a Highway Tour 2025. Saturday, April 5th, 5-star Veterans Memorial Arena.
The sound of that.
Country music's greatest vocal group, Rascal Flats.
I like the sound.
Back on the road. With special guests Lauren Elena and Chris Lane. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Rascal Flats Live.
16 years serving great craft beer in Jacksonville is saying something, and that's worth a round of applause. And Bold City Brewery is celebrating. Duval's oldest brewery is set up for a big party October 12th, and you don't want to miss it. Live music all day, great food, giveaways, and growlers galore. In fact, Bold City Brewery will be giving away free pints, and someone's going to win free growler fills for a year. It's all at Bold City Brewery, Roselle Street in Riverside. Check out all the details at boldcitybrewery.com.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
If your favorite colors are orange and green, stay close to South Beach this season.
Your source for weekly Canes news and nuggets on 1010XL is the Hurricane Report.
Brought to you by Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve on 1010XL.
Hey, Hickett here with a message from Zero Res. Can you believe they've been cleaning carpets in Jacksonville now for 20 years? Dave Benyon, his family, and staff are so grateful of things and appreciate you, their great customers. In fact, October's birthday month for Zero Res. So what are we doing for customers? Just say happy birthday, Zero Res, and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, towel, and grout, upholstery, or area rugs. Zero Res, man. Spell it forwards or backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators people need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Every week, we're seeing listeners cash in betting with MyBookie. Look, you don't have to bet big. Just getting some skin in the game makes it so much more fun. This weekend, we are actually favored to beat the Colts. What a world. Heck, this may be one of those games I bet the Colts to win, and if they don't, guess what? I'm happy anyway. The Bills play the Texans. That sounds like a shootout. Give me the over on the 47.5 game total. Don't forget, Sunday night, the Cowboys are 2.5-point underdogs traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll take the Cowboys with the points. The MyBookie double deposit bonus is still live up to $1,000. Get signed up now. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up. Use promo code 1010XL. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime at MyBookie.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon, and we always look forward to our Friday conversation with MyBookie analyst Raphael Esparza. Raphael, how are you doing?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. I got to start. It's not like the best game of the week by any stretch of the imagination in the college ranks, but tell us what's been going on with this Florida UCF line. It looked like it opened with the Gators a favorite and then quickly swung to UCF's side. Is there something the public doesn't know yet, or what do you attribute to that wild swing in the UCF Florida line?
I just think people just don't want to bet Florida. Just the way their season has gone. I think we all can agree that I have a better shot of coaching Florida next year than Billy Napier does this year. The only thing that excited Florida football team was that Ole Miss lost yesterday, so we get to hear about the Lane Kiffin rumors for another week. UCF money just came in just because of the talent, and I'm hearing that a lot of these athletes over at Florida are pretty much almost checking out. So you're going to see an abundance of people probably transferring out of Florida.
Wow, that's interesting. I had not heard that. Do you get into the future coach betting lines? Do you, in terms of the future Florida coach, is that something like with Lane Kiffin, is that something you pay attention to?
Yeah, because I have to do the odds for it, so of course I have to pay close attention to that. I mean, it was Kiffin's a favorite for a while, but there's a lot of good coaches out there. The UNLV head coach is getting a lot of love for some head coaching jobs, so keep an eye out for him as well.
So, Raphael, if you had to bet it, who do you think will be the next Florida coach?
Oof. I mean, the way Ole Miss looked like yesterday, if the Rebels lose, let's say 2 or 3 games, I mean, if you're Kiffin, why wouldn't you just want to jump ship and try to rebuild a program that you're probably well known? So Florida, I don't think the Gators go that route, but I would say the public money will come in on Kiffin.
Interesting. And who do you like in that game?
I like Florida. I just think the overall talent, I mean, Florida will still get the better recruits and stuff like that. I think the overall talent, I think Florida squeaks out a victory, but that does not save Napier's job.
This is one in the SEC that I'm intrigued by. Missouri is the higher-ranked team, but they're an underdog going to Texas A&M. I see it at my bookie at 2.5. Do you have any strong feelings on this play?
If this was in Missouri, it would have been totally different. Missouri probably would have been a solid field goal, even 3.5. So that just tells us that we're not 100% sold on Texas A&M. Don't forget, they already lost at home at College Station this year. I'm leaning towards it just because you're trying to tell me I can get a Texas A&M team. Well, it's a tough place to play at College Station. Less than a field goal. I think it's going to be a defensive battle game. I'm going to say Texas A&M squeaks one out.
Yeah, we talked about Lane Kiffin earlier. Ole Miss goes to South Carolina as an 8.5-point favorite. Do you like the Rebels to bounce back big, or do you think Shane Beamer can keep it within that total?
Beamer's getting 2 wide receivers back, and their offense is getting healthier. I think it's going to be a much closer game. I see Ole Miss winning maybe by like 6 points or less, but I'm going to take the plus points. And the betting public will bet Ole Miss thinking for the rebound game from last week. I'm just not sold. Ole Miss, that schedule. I think me and you could probably score a touchdown against Furman, who they played.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to throw you the ball, though. You can be the one that scores the touchdown. I'll sit back in the pocket and get rid of it and avoid the contact. What about Michigan going to Washington? It looks like Michigan is getting 1.5. What do you see here?
Early in the week over at my bookie, we had 2.5, and I thought that was a better number. Right now, I don't see any value on this game except the under. I think both teams are want to establish the run early, and Michigan's defense is playing much better. Not like last year's defense, but much better. I can see an under game on this one, so it'll be a Big Ten bore fest.
And then one more college game I want to ask you about, and then you can give us a college game maybe if we haven't covered that you really like. But let's go to Tallahassee. Clemson, a 14.5-point favorite against the struggling Seminoles. If you had to play this one, which side would you be on?
Maybe look at Florida State later because it's a 7 o'clock Eastern Standard game. I can guarantee you it's going to be 15 or higher on this game. So if you like the Seminoles, wait to get the better number on this one. All Clemson money came in that evil half a point that we attached on there to make the bettors angry. But wait for it, that half a point will go by. It's going to probably go to 15.
My bookie's Raphael Esparza joining us on the Frangie Show. Raphael, do you have a college game that we haven't mentioned that you think is a really good play?
I'm going to tonight. There's football on tonight, boys and girls, and it's Syracuse and UNLV. I can't wait to watch this game. Syracuse money is coming in as we speak. Most likely, we will probably have to get it down to 5.5. Give me UNLV. They're a mad team that their quarterback left because he didn't get his $100,000 and his free buffet pass at Bellagio, and they played like they didn't need him last week. And when they beat Fresno State, I think they not upset. I think they win at home at the Death Star and beat Syracuse tonight.
All right, love it. And let's get to the NFL. We've got 4 games here I want to ask you about. And then again, if there's a game that we don't get to, I'd love to hear one if you've got a strong feeling on it. But let's start with Baltimore going to Cincinnati. I see Baltimore as a 2.5-point favorite. How do you like that game?
Yeah, this reminds me of the Bills-Baltimore game where the betting public was all over Buffalo, and we needed Baltimore, and we got it. It's the same thing. Public all over Baltimore in this one. I can see Cincinnati. I was hoping this would go to 3 if you're betting-wise, but I think it comes down. So I would say grab the plus points with Cincinnati to get to 2.5, because I think it will come down to 2.
Excellent. And Buffalo is at Houston, and it looks like from what I'm seeing, the Texans a 1-point favorite. Any strong vibe there?
Yeah, this is one of those ones that smells like a trap. It looks like a trap, so just sit back and watch. It's going to be a fantastic game. I'm leaning towards Houston to bounce back after last week. But I like a lot of points in this one. I think the over at 47 looks good.
Nice. And then, Raphael, Sunday Night Football, Dallas going to Pittsburgh. Dallas, it looks like getting 2.5. What should the play be here?
This is my game that I was going to talk about because this is the twin Esparza Bowl game because my twin brother, is a big Dallas Cowboy fan, Tony Dorsett fan. I was always a Franco Harris fan. So whoever wins this has to always, the next time they see each other, a steak dinner. Give me Pittsburgh at 2.5. That Dallas defense is going to be shredded. No Parsons, no Lawrence. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers offense put some points on the board.
All right, excellent stuff. We will get you out on our final one. Got to ask you about the Jaguars winless, but a favorite hosting Indianapolis on Sunday. Jags look like they're giving 3. If you had to play this one, where would your money be?
I wouldn't take the 3. I would look at the money line, maybe minus 165 or less. I like Jacksonville to win this one. It's going to be a nail-biter. We all know the Colts have had horrible times going to Duval and trying to steal a game. I think they struggle again. I think Jacksonville finally gets a W, so I like the Jags.
Raphael Esparza, we certainly appreciate all your insight, and have a wonderful weekend. And, boy, fans, that MyBookie double deposit bonus, it's still there. Make sure you use promo code 1010XL to cash that in. But MyBookie is the place you need to be at. Raphael, thanks so much for your time. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll look forward to talking with you next Friday.
You two have a great weekend, guys.
All right. There you go.
I like it. I was writing down, making my bets.
You're going to make
Raphael
some
does a good
cash.
job.
Oh,
he really knows his stuff. He's good on air. Great having Raphael Esparza on. You hear him on Rick's show, too, so he does a great job here on 1010. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little Jags, a little college football. Got a lot to do. Pete Prisco at the top of the hour. We're glad you're with us on a Friday. Our Fridays are always brought to you by Big Chief Tire Company, the best tire company around. There's 5 locations. The Parman family always has and continues to do it well, over 60 years in business. The north side, 2 on the west side, the south side, I promise you. And, of course, the newest location is in Orange Park. If you need tires or automotive service or brakes or oil changes, believe me, nobody does a better job than my friends at Big Chief Tire. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's time for Bravo Days, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified sales event at Nimnik Buick GMC. For a limited time, enjoy rates as low as 1.9% APR or $500 in down payment assistance on Car Bravo certified vehicles at Nimnik. Now is the time to shop certified used vehicles and buy with confidence at Nimnik Buick GMC. Again, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnik Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford, all makes, all models. Trading in your old vehicle? Well, don't forget who gives you the top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnik. So shop online at nimnikbuickgmc.com or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. That's Nimnik. We are professional grade GMC.
It's the ultimate tailgate. Someone's going to win a tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher.
Valued at $100.
And it could be you.
Monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and
collectible football.
Enter at 1010XL.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay. Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
You
don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Pregame Friday
Is brought to you by MyBookie
and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Hello, I'm Jerry Holland, Duval County Supervisor of Elections. Are you ready for the presidential election? The clock is ticking. In Florida, you must register to vote 29 days before an election, which is Monday, October 7th. Please check your voter information before voting. If you've moved, visit us at northfloridavotes.com and update your address. Remember also, avoid the long lines on Election Day and vote early. Check your sample ballot for the nearest location. We'll see you at the polls.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Go! Every Friday night in every town in America, communities come together for a time-honored tradition.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Friday Night Lights.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Stuck on what to do with a plumbing issue? Just call the Duck. Duck Rooter are experts at plumbing and are a 5-star Google-rated company. You name it, they do it. Water heater replacements to sewer drain cleaning, leaks to repipes. Fully licensed and insured with highly trained technicians. Trust the Duck to fix it right. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World.
Simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
On Sunday, legendary Jaguars head coach Tom Coughlin will go into the Jaguars Ring of Honor to commemorate his excellent leadership he brought to the franchise in the 8 seasons he was Duval's head coach. One of the greatest Jaguars of all time, Fred Taylor, had high praises for his former head coach in a recent interview with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
A lot of who I am today and what I stand for as a father, as a person, as a friend, a lot of the same values that coach had spent so much time trying to drill that into all of us. Some of us got it, if you wanted it.
Yeah.
And some of us sort of probably didn't, unfortunately. We knew coach stood for what was right.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
We thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. 5 locations in town and one of the best companies around. Oil changes or brakes for automotive service. And, of course, those terrific alignments, those terrific tires available to you at Big Chief Tire Company. Frangie and Carlyon, JJ La Selva with you. JJ, you're going to the left coast, the Bay Area.
We are.
Nervous? Nervous at all or no?
I'm nervous about every game, man. At
Yeah,
this
you
point,
are. That's why I
especially
asked.
because we have something to lose. You know, usually at this point we got 1 or 2 losses, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, absolutely. I saw a video of the 2 heroes driving the tractor trailer across country with the Miami gear. What a job.
Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't. It sounds terrible.
Because college teams, that's what they do. They
don't
drive
fly
they drive their gear in a truck. They load up the truck and take off.
Just another ACC conference game.
Exactly right. Hayes, I could see you in that job.
I could do that job.
I could see you.
I'm not qualified for much, but I can do like long distance driving.
Yeah. I can see it. JJ.
Make a good playlist.
You call
good playlist.
You call Hayes on a cell phone.
3-day-long playlist.
Hayes, where are you? El Paso.
Yeah.
I can see that.
We're making good time.
Yeah,
I like saying that. Like I like
Just had
long
a
distance
burrito.
drives just because I like saying that. We're making good time. Because there's no other instance in life where you can say that we're making good time.
It's
So
also it's also a man thing. Men love to tell
very
you they had a good
man
time.
thing.
I mean, other than telling you that they are the best griller of all time.
Yes.
The next best man thing is how much time the good time they made.
Mhm.
If you let a man tell you, by the way, that he made really good time on the road and grilled up a good steak, that's as man as it gets, isn't it?
There's nothing sweeter than that 90-second bathroom break and you get right back on the road. I mean, in terms of life.
Right.
I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Well, and men pride themselves on never going. Well, I haven't gone in 8 days. I'm
right.
good. Okay,
You don't stop. But when your body is shutting down and you have to stop.
I once made a friend use a Gatorade bottle in the back seat. No lie.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Gators and UCF. We'll do obviously it's in our picks, so we'll get to who we think is going to win in about 30 40
I'm taking
minutes.
UCF.
Okay. but until we do, thank you for that. The significance of this, Gators lose 31-21. I think we've agreed that we'd be surprised if he's fired today or this weekend, right? But I wonder, again, you say that, we all say it, and I still would be surprised. But how you think you will feel is different than how you feel when something happens, right? Now, if they lose a close game, that's one thing, because I think they're an underdog, which is, that part's preposterous too, but they are. But if they lose 41-17, if it's Miami all over again, to UCF, I do wonder, Hayes, how, I mean, it's already loud. But you see my point? No matter how, you think, well, Frank, they're not going to say anything they haven't already been saying. Yeah, but it's different when you see it and feel it and live it. In a night game in the swamp with a packed house, with Florida coming off at least a decent performance against Mississippi State, there would be some shock value that you got rolled at home by UCF.
I think really in terms of Napier getting fired like this weekend, which I think is unlikely,
I do too.
But I think really it doesn't even come down to the outcome of this game. I think it's more how many kids opt out, if any. If he doesn't have any kids opt out as this becomes the 5th game and they've had a bye week to think about it and they've had a bye week to see what happened at UNLV, I mean, even UCF has a couple guys.
Wouldn't you have to opt out before this game?
No, they could decide tomorrow morning.
You can play 5.
You can play 4.
You can play 4. Well, this would be the 5th.
This would be the 5th.
Exactly.
So you mean opt out before the game?
Exactly.
Correct.
Oh, I got you.
So if we get to kickoff tomorrow
I hear you.
and all the beat writers and the TV are talking about the 7 Florida players
that opted
out and are going to enter the portal, I think that is going to be more of a difficult thing for Napier to withstand than losing the game. I'll say it like this. If UCF wins the game, and I don't think 41-17 is out there, but let's say that UCF wins 37-27.
Right.
If he doesn't have anybody opt out on him, when I think in most cases you would have that, to me that says so much about, yes, okay, obviously he's not a very good coach. He's outclassed at this level. But he obviously still has the locker room. He still has these kids saying, you know what, yes, I could opt out and protect my year and use that to transfer and maybe make some money somewhere else. but I'm going to stick this out, even though I know we're not competing for anything of any sort of tangible championship. I'm going to stick this out because I feel I owe it to Billy Napier, I owe it to the school, whoever, whatever the motivation is. I think that would reflect really well on Billy Napier. So, like, if Florida doesn't have anybody elect to opt out, I think, to be honest, no matter what the score is, I would keep him as coach and let him continue to coach it through the end of the year. I mean, I'm expecting there to be some really embarrassing losses coming for Florida, and tomorrow could certainly be one of them. So I'm by no means saying I think Billy Napier has any chance of keeping this job beyond December 2nd. But I think for the here and now, if he doesn't have opt-outs, I'd let him keep coaching.
See, I'm torn on the locker room thing. I think we've said a lot of times, of all the things he's not, he's a pretty good guy, and he's an honest guy, and I would think he's a guy that you'd want your kid playing for. I do believe all that. But then the other side of that is when I look up and Virginia Tech's best pass rusher came from Florida, and Ole Miss's best pass rusher came from Florida, and Missouri's best
Florida can't rush the passer at all.
Right. And Missouri's best defensive lineman came from Florida, and Georgia's best running back came from Florida, and Pitt's best safety came from Florida. When I see how many good Oklahoma's right tackle came from Florida, when I see how many good starting players, all of whom have at least a cup of coffee in the NFL waiting for them, if not more, I wonder, then why'd they all bail on him? Why did so many good players leave if he's got the locker room? And I'm not suggesting he doesn't, because I think your assessment of this is correct. You don't feel like there's off-field stuff going on. You don't feel like there's a lot of drama.
Yeah, that was what was really interesting about Raphael saying that they are hearing that.
Well, and again, just a point you made earlier in this week is when a line jumps from whatever to whatever, from Pick'em to 4-point underdog or something like that, then something's going on. Raphael Esparza from my bookie suggested that is happening. Now, maybe maybe they haven't heard that. Maybe he's just piecing together.
Yeah. And he did say he would take Florida.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's just for me.
It's.
And by the way, the whole of all the unintended consequence of this whole portal and NIL thing is midseason opt-outs. I will tell you, I never thought we would see that.
I never thought that either.
But I was also I had become resigned to the fact that we were going to see post-regular season pre-bowl game opt-outs. That's the way the world is. FSU set the record for them last year, but other teams have had their share. But I didn't think we would see mid-season opt-outs with this 4-game thing.
And look, this might be naive on my part, but if I was a major college football coach, I would have zero interest in a player that played 4 games and then bailed on his team and redshirted and looked to go into the portal.
And
to me, that would be a complete deal breaker for me. I would not want to bring that into my program. That could be completely naive and ridiculous, but I'm fairly open with player freedoms and stuff like that. But from my standpoint, if I was running a football program, I would not bring somebody in that did that.
And here, let me tell you what happens with that. I hear you. I think the NC State coach may say just what you said. I'm not taking a guy that bailed on his team in midseason. Not doing it. Okay, coach, you're right. So we're not doing it. But, man, we are down on receivers, and we just can't find one. We missed on 2 or 3 guys. Have you heard that LSU receiver wants to come here? I then think the coach who intended to think just what you thought, but is trying to save his job, caves. That's what happens. Because I hear you, but I think the coach who had every intention of saying, no, I'm not taking a guy that quit on his team in the middle of the season until I got a chance to take that guy and he can change my team and save my job and my $6 million a year. I think that's where that would go.
UCF just had this brilliant return specialist.
Quit at 4 games.
Who's not going to play tomorrow in the swamp, who's having a great start to the year and opted out. I'm sure that he will get a lot of big time offers. And, again, I just, it's already such a unstable landscape that now, I mean, if you're able to take that kid and they can't transfer again, well, then you're protected from that happening again. But that's not how it works. They pretty much have unlimited transfer ability. So it would be hard for me. I It would have to be a very special circumstance. I would think UCF has at least some NIL.
Right.
I might be able to make an exception for like the Jared Verse playing at Albany, who obviously isn't getting any money to play there. Saying, okay, the last thing I need is to blow out my knee. I've got 7 sacks in our first 4 games.
Correct.
I'm opting out because I want to be able to go make money in that's different. But if you're at a decent school that's got NIL, to me it's a massive red flag.
Yeah, and so and I hear you, and the most concerning is we have built a system that not only allows that but almost promotes it, and I think that's the concern. So Florida UCF. We'll pick the game later on, but there are some ramifications. I don't think Billy Napier gets fired no matter what happens. But if it's a rout and those stands are emptying, that packed house of 90,000 looks like 40,000 by mid-fourth quarter, I don't know. As for FSU, Mike Norvell's not getting fired. But what if Clemson comes in there and puts 45-10 on them? How does that change the tenor of what they do? Does Mike Alford at least have a conversation with Mike Norvell? Listen, what are we doing here? What happened? And by the way, we're not picking that game, so I don't have it on. I'm not going to put a game on our picks. It's that big of a spread for the home team, but I don't think Clemson. I think Clemson's going to beat Florida State. I don't think they're going to roll them.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think Florida State will, because Clemson's not a high flying passing team. Florida State is at home. It is a night game. It is a rivalry game. My guess is the Noles hang around in that game.
I agree. I wouldn't touch the game in terms of the spread. I think it's pretty close to what it'll be, but I think it'll be kind of a sloppy game where maybe Clemson wins like 24-10.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, I think in that instance, Florida State's in the game basically the whole time up until the last minute or two. So I would be surprised if Clemson goes in and just absolutely hammers the Noles. I don't see that in Clemson, but in fairness, I've really only watched them against Georgia, and obviously they've had time to grow since then. But I just it's hard for me to buy Clemson being like a really good team. I think they're decent. I think they're a decent team, but like if Miami and Clemson played on a neutral field, I think Miami would beat them by double digits.
Yeah, I will say this. I think Clemson's a different team than the one we saw against that Georgia team. Just watching them a little bit. I haven't watched them much either, but I think they're a little different.
It was like 6-3 at half or 3-0 or something.
Yeah, they had an awful second half, but I think they've gotten better since then. So we'll see whether or not they have or not. It's interesting. One other game. The oldest rivalry in the South used to be one heck of a game.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a game I used to live for. It used to come right after Florida, Georgia. What has happened to
Look at that point spread.
What has happened to
I think it's
Georgia?
24.
It's
It is
24 points. How about that?
It's stunning. It's been really, we talk obviously more about Florida's struggles, but man, Auburn has now been down for what feels like a decade.
24 points.
I mean, yeah, it's been a very lean decade for the Auburn Tigers, and it doesn't appear that that they're close to getting out of it. I will say Hugh Freeze has a brilliant class that's committed to him. So if he can get those guys to sign in December, then maybe they can start turning it around starting next year. But I think Georgia absolutely manhandles them. Auburn will be lucky to score 10 points.
During this stretch of awfulness for the Gators, what's the biggest underdog they have been? They were 17 to Georgia a few times, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they've been.
It would
24.
have to be a Georgia game.
Yeah,
I think one of the Georgia games, maybe it was in the 20s.
20s. I know it's been 17-ish a few times. Has it been 20?
I think the year McElwain had the death threats.
It was 20
and got fired the next morning after the Georgia game. I want to say that might have been in the 24.5 range. I could be wrong.
Yeah, all right,
it's going to be there this year.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's get it back to the NFL. Pete Prisco joins us from CBSSports.com. It's brought to you by Showtime. What does he think of the Jags and the NFL so far? NFL Talk with Pete after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And be sure to check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3-point favorite against the visiting Colts. The over-under is 46 points. The Gators are a 3-point underdog to UCF in the Swamp. The Noles, a 14.5-point home underdog to Clemson. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it is a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
1010XL Weekly is your one-stop shop for all things Jags, college ball, preps, and more. Subscribe to our newsletter today, and you will be entered to win free tickets to the Packers game this October. Subscribe, just head on over to 1010XL.com and scroll down to the 1010XL Weekly Flash page.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
Northwest Florida's largest RV show is coming to the Jacksonville Equestrian Center. It's the Jacksonville Fall RV Show, Thursday through Sunday, October 3rd through 6th, with hundreds of RVs on display, lifestyle booths, plus register to win a $250 gift card each day. Adults $10, kids under 12 free. Seniors save half off Thursday. First responders, military, active, and retired get half off every day. We'll see you at the Jacksonville Fall RV Show.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at MacKenziesRun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. MacKenziesRun.org.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Firehouse Subs is turning 30. Celebrate with them on Tuesday, October 8th from 5 to 6 p.m. at the Mandarin location. Meet Jacksonville, your favorite Jag players, and the cheerleaders. Join the fun at Firehouse Subs, 9825 San Jose Boulevard in Mandarin.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher that offers take-and-bake side options that are oven-ready.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is Paige, owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. People ask me all the time what's healthy, and that's hard because healthy is different from losing weight. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. There are a lot of foods out there that are healthy foods, but they're not going to support your weight loss. And that's what we're here to help with. We're here to help you get in the healthy foods that are going to help you lose weight. The Awaken 180 difference is our coaches. It's our team. You can find things online about weight loss, but you try them yourself and they just don't work. And that's because everyone is different. And that's what our coaches are so skilled at helping you figure out.
They certainly figure it out. This is Mike Dempsey, and as you all know, I dropped my 25 pounds in just 4 weeks thanks to Awaken 180. They did the work, I just followed my plan. They did the same for Matt Hays, and I'd say they hit the target with Hacker, about to reach the 100-pound mark. Let them do it for you. Reserve your consultation at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Bulls Bulldogs are back in action on a short week after their dominant 35-0 win against Baldwin on Monday night. The Bulldogs, led by 4-star wide receiver Naheem Burrows, are set to take the Columbia Tigers tonight at home. Burrows is averaging 91 yards a game with 9 touchdowns so far. Catch the action right here on 1010XL as the Bulldogs look to improve to 5-1 on the season. Another in-state matchup will be going down tomorrow night when the UCF Knights head up to Gainesville to take on the Gators in the Swamp. This will be a big matchup for both teams, as UCF is fresh off a loss to Colorado and looking for redemption. Meanwhile, the Gators are fresh off a bye week and would love to win their second straight game before their gauntlet of a schedule takes form. 1010XL also brings you coverage of that game with Kick at 7:45. It's 83 degrees at 4:58. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, we do thank our friends from Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Man, they do a great job. They've got the best vintage cards. They've got the best autographed items. They've got it all. And if you have a team you root for, they've got something about that team there, I promise you. It's located at the corner of Phillips and Chad. You can also find them on all the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Pete Prisco joins us now. Pete, tough times around here, bro. As you assess the Jags, what do you see as the biggest problem?
Roster. Let's start there because I was wrong about the roster. I think they've done, really when you look at it, a lot of decisions have come back and backfired on them, and I think that adds up. The guys they signed, like Armstead, what are they getting out of him? And why is he playing defensive end? I don't get that. Darby started off okay, but Monteric Brown has outplayed him.
Right.
You look at the contracts they gave Aluakon on a restructure. They moved up to draft Devin Lloyd. Ventrell Miller probably should be on the field. So there's a lot of mistakes that go into that roster, and I think when you look at it, that's the major problem with the team right now.
What do you think about Trevor Lawrence in his game right now?
Here's the whole thing with Trevor Lawrence. All he heard all last season and on into the offseason was, don't turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. Well, everybody got their wish, right? He hadn't turned the ball over. I think he has 1 turnover on the entire season. But that's what you do to a quarterback is you turn him into a robot. And I think he's been turned into a robot. You combine that with the fact the offensive line, aside from last week, which was pretty good, hasn't been great. The receivers haven't been great, although Brian Thomas is going to be a star. He's still a kid. And then you had no Evan Ingram, and you add it all up, and I think you're seeing a robotic quarterback. He's a long strider. And when you're a long strider, you have a tendency to your head comes down when you stride long, and your passes go high. And we've seen that a couple different times this season. So I think that combined with I don't love the design of the offense. I think it has turned him into a robotic quarterback. Not turning the ball over, so everybody should be thrilled about that. But he's just not the same guy right now.
Do you get the impression he's pressing a little, Pete? That's my. He wants. He's a good dude, and I think he wants to be good so badly, and he knows he's missing open throws, and I just sense he's pressing. Do you get that read?
Tight, pressing, all the above, and you can't play quarterback in the NFL that way. I'd rather see him throw for 340 and 2 picks and 3 touchdowns than what's going on right now. And I think it's been so hammered into his head, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, that he plays so tight. It's like, and Frank, you played basketball. You know when you go in and the coach says, if you turn it over, you're coming out, how tight are you? You're tight. You play tight. And that's what we're getting and seeing out of him right now. That's what you're getting out of Trevor Lawrence, is a guy who's playing tight and is pressing. And he needs to just go out there and play. And by the way, I don't think it has anything to do with the contract. Everybody, the contract, he's playing. That should be, it's in the past. That's relief now. You move on. That's not why he's playing tight. That's not why he's missing open receivers. It's a combination of things. And one of them is that they banged into his head so long in the offseason and all at the end of last year that he can't turn it over, that he's not turning it over, but he's not making plays.
What's the path for Indianapolis coming here Sunday and getting a win?
Who starts at quarterback for Indianapolis?
I think it's Flacco.
Yeah,
that's a bad break for Jacksonville, by the way.
Isn't it funny? We talked about this earlier, that most people think, probably the three of us included, that at least for now, he'd rather play Anthony Richardson because he's young in his career. We don't know who it's going to be, but everybody's gut is it's going to probably be Flacco.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just by the way they worked in practice and stuff, it looks like it's going to be Flacco. And you saw. In watching that game and watching that tape last week, you saw excitement on the receivers when Flacco went into the game. And look, Anthony Richardson's a kid. I mean, he's an erratic kid. He can make some big plays, but he's erratic. You saw Michael Pittman went crazy last week when Flacco went in the game. So, yeah, I think you'd rather play, Anthony Richardson than Joe Flacco. But, Jonathan Taylor not there is big, too. I mean, that's a big part of what they do, too. And so that helps from that standpoint. But I think you'd rather have Taylor and Richardson in the game than Flacco and the backup running back.
Let me go the other way about the Jags for a second. And I'm desperately trying to see the glasses half full if I can here. They're 0-4, the only winless team in the league. We all know that. You are what your record says you are, and they haven't been very good. The other side of that is they have been all around it, Pete. They've lost, other than the Bills game, they've lost 3 games by 12 points. They've had fourth quarter leads in 2 of their 4 games. They were 1 play away even in the Browns game. Is it possible they're close and they can get this thing flipped? Do you see that at all?
Well, they better win the next 3. I mean, that's starting on Sunday, and they've had a good history against the Colts. So if they don't win that game, then it's even more alarming. Particularly in Jacksonville, they've dominated the Colts, and so if you don't win that game on Sunday, then I think you pack your bags, you start looking at next season, and then all the scrutiny starts coming on everybody. I mean, it comes on everybody. Starting with the general manager, right down to the head coach, and down to the quarterback. It's there. And I can't imagine if they lose that game, they're not going to make a change before they go to London. That would be foolish. But if they lose that game, go to London and split those games and come back, 1-6, then all of a sudden you start wondering if they're going to make some kind of moves in that organization.
Who do you think wins Sunday?
I think Jacksonville will win the game. The history, I'm a big history guy, and I think those things matter when you come into it. When the Colts haven't won there in so long and they come in there, I think that matters. That hangs on a team. And I think, this week it was interesting with Doug Pederson making those comments and then coming walking them back, and probably had some conversations with the players, and that report that came out that there's fracture, they lost the locker room, which, I don't think he's lost the locker room. I don't believe that. I haven't heard that at all, and I'm sure you guys are around it more than me. I don't think he's lost the locker room. But it didn't help what he said on Sunday. I mean, that was a bad look for a head coach. It just was. The way it came out, whether he meant it or not a good look. And so they had a lot of work to do to build that thing back up this week. But I think they did, and I think they will, and I think they'll go out and win the game.
Yeah, I think he's not lost I can tell you he hasn't lost the locker room. I am around him a lot. I'm on the plane. I'm on the hotel that haven't lost the locker room. I can also tell you that at one point this week, somebody walked into his office from the team and said, listen, one of the players, a representative of one of the players, okay, said, listen, we got your back on this, coach. No, you don't have to worry about. I think there's a closeness there. That doesn't solve all the problems, but I don't think there's baggage in the locker room. The problem is, you said it, they're not playing very well, Pete. That's the point. What do you think of the division? I got to tell you, I know the Texans are 3-1. I'll give you credit. You thought they may come back to the pack a bit. Although they're 3-1, I was a bit underwhelmed by them watching them in person. What do you think of the division? If there's any division you can come back in, it seems like it might be this one.
Yeah, and you thought it was going to be a better division than what it is. I mean, look, I thought the Texans would win the division, but be like 9-7. I mean, 9-8 or 10-7, and I'm with you. They've been underwhelming in large part because their offensive line hasn't been very good, and defensively they weren't great last week either. So, yeah, I think they're underwhelming. Tennessee, look, they won the other night. That was a disgusting game. Miami's a really bad team right now. Levis is hurt, so who knows what they are. And the Colts are too inconsistent. So it's not the division's not nearly as good as I thought it would be, including Jacksonville. So yeah, it's definitely terrible. And they play Buffalo. And the Texans' schedule is brutal, by the way. It's a tough schedule. So I'm not saying anybody's going to go get them because the other teams have to show they can do that, and I haven't seen that from any of them yet. But the Texans aren't nearly what everybody thought they would be.
What did you think of last night's game? Because the NFC South might be actually really good.
That was fun, and I think defensively both those teams have issues. The issue with the Bucs is their players are gone. They don't have Winfield, they don't have Cansey, they didn't have Servassier Dennis, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but he's a linebacker who could cover. They're just getting back Vita Vea. Then they had the nickel corner went out. I mean, they have so many injuries. Whitehead went out. They have so many injuries on defense, and the Falcons took over and took advantage of that. The other side is, though, the Falcons, their nickel corner went down, and they picked on the backup, but most of their guys were there. They don't rush the passer well enough. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have to win a lot of games. Yeah,
I agree with that. But I think the Falcons are pretty good. I think not just because he threw for 509 yards, I get a hunch that the Falcons, that might be a team that catches some fire later on. You don't see it that way? You don't think so?
Well, I mean, yeah, if he plays like that and those receivers play like that, then yeah. And Zach Robinson's a hell of an offensive coordinator, by the way. I mean, he comes from the Rams and calls a good game. And here's the other side of that. Liam Cohen's done a hell of a job for the Bucs. They're thrilled with him, but much more excited about him than even they were with Dave Canales, who's now the head coach of Carolina. And that should be a lesson to a team in Jacksonville. Get one of those guys. Get him. If you get rid of Doug Pederson down the road, get one of those guys. Get one of those bright young offensive minds. Ben Johnson, Kubiak, Clint Kubiak, or one of those two. Because whoever takes over that team has the quarterback, so he's going to have to fix him and get him right and get him in an offense that works for him. I still don't. And I want to go back on a rant. I still don't like the fact they don't throw into the middle of the field. There was a little more of it Sunday. You had the crosser to Thomas, who I think can do a lot more in the middle of the field. It's too on the outside the numbers for me, and I don't know why. Why is that? Have anybody asked why they do that? They don't think about their plays in the middle of the field. They've had success down there. Are they scared of the kid throwing into the middle of the field? Is that the problem?
That would be my guess, is that he's not seeing it, and they don't think he can see it. But that's just me guessing.
You know what, though, Hayes? When you go back and watch the tape, there ain't a lot of it in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
It's not like he's missing shots. He missed open shots down the sideline. He missed the one down the sideline. He missed the over route to Kirk. He's got to hit that.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot into the middle of the field. There just isn't. And I don't know if they're afraid of him. They're afraid of – I don't know why the reasoning is behind that. Because you go back to the Miami game, he hit Kirk in the seam on the big play early in that game. I think it was early in the game. Remember when he hit him for about 20 yards? Then he hit him in the same type of situation against Buffalo. Now, that was when the game got out of hand, but it was the same type of concept in the middle of the field. And I think Thomas can go in there and do some stuff. They don't throw in there, and they've done too little of that for my liking.
Which team should send the Raiders a second-rounder for Devontae Adams?
I think when the Jets get back from London, they will, and I think they should. That's a regime that's out. They don't win. So it isn't your draft picks that are going to be for you. So why not trade him? If I were Joe Douglas and I was Robert Saleh, I'd be on the horn as soon as I get back. And they got the room; they could fit him in. And so just make that deal. Get another weapon. The one thing about the Packers offense, and you guys know this because of when he was there in Jacksonville, there's not a lot of pre-snap motion, and Aaron Rodgers prefers that. He loves that. In fact, receivers that have played with him told me that's exactly the way he wants it. It's like the old Peyton Manning days. And Peyton Manning would come up, and you have two on one side, one on the other, and Dallas Clark. And then you'd go, okay, we'll go ahead. But he also had two Hall of Famers, and it worked. Well, the Jets try and do that. They don't have two Hall of Famers. They have a guy Wilson's been a disappointment. So you need to get another guy if you're going to play that way, the way Rodgers prefers to play. So I think they go out and they go make the move to go get Devontae Adams. By the way, Buffalo should investigate as well.
Yeah.
Pete, final thing. The Jags and everybody else in this division gets to play the NFC North this year, which looks like it's pretty good. Are the Vikings as good as it looks with Sam Darnold for 4-0? And obviously the Lions look like they are as good. How good are those two teams? Is this going to prolong? I mean, are they going deep, these two teams, in your opinion?
It's interesting because last week you saw little bits of Sam Darnold becoming Sam Darnold. He turned it over, interception. Then he fumbled. They got a touchdown point-blank range because of his turnover, made it 28-22. But you know what they did, the Vikings? They took over, and Kevin O'Connell called 6 of the next 7 plays were pass plays, starting with the first one. And they went down and got a field goal to make it a 9-point game. Game over. But they don't coach scared, and that's one of the biggest differences with the Vikings on both sides of the ball. Flores, aggressive. O'Connell, aggressive. That matters, and I think that's why Darnold's playing well. And to answer your question, I would say yes.
Yeah, I get the same bunch. Pete Prisco checking in, talking NFL football. Tough times in Jacksonville, need a win in the worst way. Pete is from CBSSports.com. Pete, have a good weekend. Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Take care, Frank.
All right. Pete's Report is brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. I mean, the best in vintage cards. Terrific autographed items. Go find them at the corner of Phillips and Chad or on all those social channels. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
I mean, picks are coming up. There's been movement. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been movement.
Yeah.
We'll give you standings. We'll give you the games. It's after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's a master at recon. Hays Carlyon takes you behind enemy lines on 1010XL.
What's your position? That's top secret.
Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Now, the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Gator Injury Report.
Wide receiver Eugene Wilson will remain out this Saturday against UCF after recovering from his knee surgery. The bye week did give a lot of Gators an opportunity to heal up some injuries, including wide receiver Jaquavion Frazier, defensive lineman Joey Slackman, offensive lineman Roderick Kearney, and defensive back Aaron Gates. All these players are listed for questionable for Saturday's matchup. I'm Max Fink here with your Gator Injury Report update presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here. Big Chief Tire makes auto care affordable with 6-month financing with the CFNA card. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brakes, or general checkup, Big Chief's expert technicians will take care of your car with top-notch service. And with no interest for 6 months, now is the perfect time to handle your vehicle needs. Visit BigChiefService.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply for your CFNA card today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Rascal Flats. Life is a Highway Tour 2025. Saturday, April 5th, 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. The sound of that. Country music's greatest vocal group, Rascal Flats. Back on the road. With special guests Lauren Elena and Chris Lane. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Rascal Flats Live.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Getting you ready for the game. Pre-Game Friday. Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. I've heard people selling diamonds saying they have high-quality diamonds at rock-bottom prices. Can that happen?
Frank, that'd be like a Mercedes dealer saying they sold at the same price as a Yugo. That just doesn't happen in any industry, and people who believe it are always the ones looking for something too good to be true, and they normally find out later it was. In diamonds, when you talk about higher quality diamonds with credible diamond grading reports from GIA, AGS, or Forevermark, the prices are higher, but so is the quality and value. Now, for a customer to understand that, they have to try to learn things like going to the internet, but they're going to get confused because they don't have an expert to ask questions to. The best way to get answers is to come in one of our stores and ask one of our professionals what those questions are and have them explain real diamonds to you. The result will be you'll understand more about a diamond's quality, price, and value by coming in.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T.
Bring it in!
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
Sports fans, JJ LaSalva here. When I need to send my bride flowers or a plant for birthdays or anniversaries, I always go with Kuhn Flowers. After all, they've been the leading florist in these parts for over 75 years. You can always rely on Kuhn Flowers.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows in $2.95.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Hicken here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The Frangie Show Picks Contest is presented by Sunshine Turf. For the highest quality artificial grass installations at affordable prices, it's Sunshine Turf.
And we do appreciate our friends from Sunshine Turf. Caleb Smith and all those folks. Gosh, what a good job they do. Look, everyone's doing it now. Whether it's a putting green in your yard, whether it's a play area for your kids, artificial turf, you don't need to mow it. It always looks good. Everybody's doing it. Call Sunshine Turf, 904-892-0580 or sunshineturf.info. That's how you get a hold of my friends at Sunshine Turf. Here's the way it looks. Last week, the old guy might have made a little run. 7-1 on the week.
Wow.
8 total points. Hays Carlyon from the Bowl School, 6-2 on the week, 7 total points. Both of us got the money ball. JJ 5-3 on the week. 5 total points. He missed the Jags game. 8-7-5 is how it went last week. So the standings look like this. Carlyon 17-15, 20 total points. I have moved into second, 16-16, 18 total points. JJ La Selva from Central Ocala is 15-17, 17 total points. But we're right there together, 20-18-17.
Wow.
Anybody's ball game is what I would call this. Let's get right to it. JJ, you're kicking it off. Lane Kiffin on the road at South Carolina. Who do you like?
Bounce back week for Lane. South Carolina is tricky. We saw them earlier this season. Should have beat LSU as well as Kentucky. But I'm rolling with the Lane train and Ole Miss.
Ole Miss it is. Hays Carlyon.
Yeah, I like Ole Miss as well. There was some fluky stuff to that Kentucky loss at the end there. So I think Ole Miss plays well and convincingly wins.
Game picker-upper opportunity. I'm going South Carolina
at
home.
How about that?
South Carolina at home. Texas A&M's at home against Missouri. Hays Carlyon.
I'm going to take the Aggies here. I think being at home, I know Missouri's top 10 ranked, but their Vanderbilt scare kind of spooks me a little bit, so I'll take Texas A&M.
Coming with you. Aggies at home for me. JJ La Selva.
This one's tricky, but I will go with Texas A&M at home.
All right, you had a chance now.
I know. I almost did it. I should have pulled the trigger.
All right, so we all like A&M.
Always go with your first instinct.
A at home and home. All right, Miami is on the road to play Cal. I'll go first. I thought long and hard about this one. Cal's a 10-point dog. They've never had a game day there before. But I watched them against FSU. I don't think they can beat the Canes. I'll take Miami. JJ?
I really don't know anything about Cal. I haven't seen him play except a lady in front of me at the USF Miami game had the Cal Florida State finish on her phone, so I've seen about 2 plays. So I'll just go with the Canes.
Canes it is. And Hays Carlyon.
If you score 14, JJ, you'll be fine. And I think Cam Ward
can do that.
will do that, so give me the Canes.
Right back to JJ. University of Central Florida. UCF. Against Florida, JJ.
I just learned that they are not the Golden Knights anymore.
No, they're not. And they're not Central Florida.
Yes,
they want to be UCF.
UCF, or the University of Central Florida. I'm going with the Gators at home.
Oh, JJ La Selva.
And I don't think it's
going
to be very close, honestly. I think it's a couple scores at least.
Gators going to put one on them, says JJ La Selva, okay?
I hope he's right.
Hays Carlyon.
I will take the Central Florida Golden Knights place.
I am taking UCF as well. I don't think the Gators can beat a good team, and I think they've got a good team. So there you go. NFL music, please. JJ. All right.
I love that one.
The Bengals at home against the Ravens. I think the Ravens might be the best team in football, which is why I'm going with the upset. Give me the Bengals at home. I think the Bengals are going to get something going at home. Hays.
I like the Ravens here. I think they have kind of figured things out after a tough start. So I'll take Baltimore in a tough divisional game on the road.
On the road, JJ.
I just think the Bengals need this one. So if they don't win, I mean, the division's getting out of hand for them. So I'm going to go with the home team and the Bengals.
All right, game picker-upper for you with the Ravens. You got to like that. Ravens kind of the family team.
Love that.
And now you got the game picker-upper with them as well. Cowboys at the Steelers. Hays Carlyon.
I am going to take the Steelers here. Dallas is so beat up. No Parsons, no Brandon Cooks, no DeMarcus Lawrence. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I like Mike Tomlin's tough Pittsburgh squad to pull one out.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I just don't think the Steelers are that good. They're 3-1, I should believe, but I don't. JJ La Selva.
I agree with Frank. I think last week we got sort of like the Fields experience, and I think we're going to get it again.
All right. Bills at the Texans. JJ La Selva.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills on this one. I don't think the Texans are very good. They didn't really impress me last week either. I'm going to go with the Bills.
I got the Bills on the road as well. Hays?
I wasn't impressed with the Texans either, but Buffalo is dealing with some real concerning attrition here. The Texans don't have Mixon, but I will say that C.J. Stroud plays well enough, and DeMeco Ryans is able to slow down Josh Allen enough for the Texans to get a win.
We got some difference going here. I like the Hays may have a lot of game picker-uppers, or he may get to the cellar, one of the two. And finally, the Colts and the Jags. Hays, I'll let you kick it off. The Jags at home looking for that first win.
I'm going to take the Jaguars here. I just feel like Indianapolis, there's so much up against them. The history, the injuries, not having Jonathan Taylor. and the Jaguars are so overdue to play a good game. I just think that the Jaguars get it done to move to 1-4.
The Moneyball, J.J. LaSalva.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags. I actually think that if Anthony Richards, I disagree with most people in thinking that, Flacco's a better option for them. I think that Anthony Richardson just brings a lot more to the game. He did beat the Jags last year, but I think Flacco, he wasn't really that great in that game, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm going to go with the Jags at home.
I'm taking the Jags as well, so we all like the Jags. So those are our picks. I like South Carolina against Ole Miss. That's my shot at a game picker-upper. We all like Texas A&M, although I thought about that one. Miami and Cal, we all like Miami. JJ likes the Gators at home. Hays and I both think UCF is going to come in there and win. In the NFL, Hays likes the Ravens on the road. JJ and I both think the Bengals at home hold serve. Hays likes the Steelers at home. JJ and I both think the Cowboys on the road win that thing. The Texans. Well, you've gone against us in every one of these, haven't you? I like that. Hays likes the Texans at home. JJ and I like the Bills, and we all like the Jags. Those are our picks. One more time. The standings look like this. Hays Carlyon, 17-15, 20 total points. I'm 16-16, 18 total points. JJ, 15-17, 17 total points.
Let's go Gators.
Those are. How about that? Yeah.
I hope you get that one right.
Yeah, I do too. I just realized this. So the first 3 NFL games, JJ, you and I are picking the same team, and Hays has gone against us. And Hays
Smart
is
man.
Yeah. We're 2 good guys to go against.
I couldn't agree more. So, I'm doing very well against the spread and match show, which is coming up in about 30 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
But on this one, the NFL is killing me, man.
We're just getting started. Did you guys even think? I thought about Mizzou. Did you think about Mizzou?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's the one. If Mizzou wins, that's the one I'm going to kick.
It's funny. The game that I was really torn on that I wasn't sure if you would pick. What would you guys have done with Michigan at Washington?
Yeah, I thought about
Washington.
that. Yeah, I would.
Would you have taken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just at home, and Michigan's offense looks so pedestrian.
I probably would have taken Washington. I didn't put it on there because it's Michigan against Washington.
I mean, that's the thing. I probably wasn't.
Care more about our games,
Yeah. No, it's not a criticism at all. I just was curious.
I don't even know what time that was.
It's one of those weird games where Michigan is a top 10 team,
right?
But they're an underdog to a team that's not ranked,
right?
And I think it was Ralph Russo who covers college football for the AP. Basically, was like, this doesn't happen where you see a defending national champion ranked in the top 10,
right?
Being an underdog on the road. So it's one of those what does Vegas know kind of games.
That's right.
Well, this was the national title, right?
That's right.
Wow.
It's a rematch of the national title.
I mean, Washington's fallen off so hard, you don't even think about it.
Correct.
But, yeah, this is a 7:30 game tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll wrap the program after this on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL Sunday, an international game as the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings play at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The Jets sitting at 2-2, while the Vikings are unbeaten at 4-0, and they're a 2.5-point favorite, minus 140 on the money line. The Jets at plus 120, the over-under at 40.5. Sunday night, one of the best rivalries in the NFL is the Pittsburgh Steelers host the Dallas Cowboys. Pittsburgh at 3-1, they're a 2.5-point home favorite, minus 140 on the money line. Dallas at 2-2, plus 120. Over-under 43.5. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Hurricane season is here, and if you own or run a business, you must protect your valuable property from parking lot floods. Call Duck Rooter, your storm drain maintenance experts. Our VACCON team specializes in regular storm drain maintenance to keep your property safe and secure. With Duck Rooter, you can trust our professionals to keep your storm drains clear, preventing floods and ensuring the well-being of your customers and employees. Call us today at 904-862-6769 to schedule your storm drain maintenance. Visit duckrooter.com for more information.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
When you're shopping for insurance,
You might say,
"What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Gene Coleman at 764-4139.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Get the latest on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Is an injury keeping you on the sidelines? Whether it's your shoulder, neck, back, knee, wrist, or ankle, don't let pain hold you back any longer. At Injury Care Centers, they offer the same high-tech treatments trusted by the pros to supercharge your recovery without surgery. The road to recovery starts the moment you pick up the phone. 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hays Carlyon here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Every week, we're seeing listeners cash in betting with MyBookie. Look, you don't have to bet big. Just getting some skin in the game makes it so much more fun. This weekend, we are actually favored to beat the Colts. What a world. Heck, this may be one of those games I bet the Colts to win, and if they don't, guess what? I'm happy anyway. The Bills play the Texans. That sounds like a shootout. Give me the over on the 47.5 game total. Don't forget, Sunday night, the Cowboys are 2.5-point underdogs traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll take the Cowboys with the points. The MyBookie double deposit bonus is still live up to $1,000. Get signed up now. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up, use promo code 1010XL. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime at MyBookie.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
4 weeks into the season, the Jaguars are still without a turnover. Defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen knows they must play a balance of playing patient yet aggressive in order to make that happen.
there's a fine balance of not pressing too hard, but staying positive with it and, stay in the course. Stay positive, stay the course, continue to build this the right way. Year one, coming up on our 4th game together, and just build the foundation and stay positive and stay the course with what we're doing.
JTA Game Day Express is back. Save gas and avoid parking hassles as the Jaguars take on the Indianapolis Colts this Sunday. Let them do the driving. With multiple locations around town and passes starting at just $10 on the MyJTA app. To learn more, visit jtafla.com. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? Doug Pederson always stops by on Friday. We really appreciate that. The head coach of the Jags has a lot going on, but he always lets me call him on Fridays, and we catch up. And so he kicked off the show by talking about the obvious significance of this game, the importance of this game as they play the Indianapolis Colts. We did that coming up in the program. Raphael Esparza from MyBookie gave us some good plays. He and Hays broke down some of the games from the betting aspect. Pete Prisco joins us at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, talked about the Jags and all things NFL, and we had a lot of fun doing that, and we talked about some college games as well. Busy day today, and that's where we have been on the program today. JJ, who's hurt?
The personal injury attorneys of Farah & Farah present this injury update. Farah & Farah,
Jacksonville,
exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, let's start with the Colts. So they got a pretty important position player out. Jonathan Taylor, running back, out for the game, did not practice all week with an ankle. Anthony Richardson, we've been talking about him. He was limited in practice, so he's questionable for the game. Tackle Braden Smith, questionable. Defensive end Kwity Paye, out. Cornerback Kenny Moore, the second, out. And Ryan Kelly, their center, questionable. He did not practice at all this week. And as for the Jags, everybody is questionable. Yasir Abdullah with a neck, Evan Ingram hamstring, Darnell Savage quad, Josh Hines-Allen with the concussion, Devin Lloyd questionable with a knee, and Daniel Thomas questionable with a hamstring. And quickly, this was Coach Pederson this morning summing up the injury status of the team.
Still in the protocol. Optimistic, though. Still has to get through another phase, but he's doing well. Devin will be good. Savage will be good. Both those guys should play. Evan, I think, is still day to day. He's done some good things this week, but we'll get through today. Probably game time, but we'll see where he's at later. As we get closer.
And there's your injury report.
Yeah, and hopefully you'd love to have Evan Ingram. You'd feel better if he wasn't day to day, but we'll see what winds up happening with him. Meanwhile, Hays, that injury report for the Colts is significant. They're already down DeForest Buckner, which means Taven Bryan starts the game at defensive tackle for them. Did you know that without DeForest Buckner?
I mean, how much has the line shifted to now the Colts are a big favorite, correct?
I would think what you're going to ask me is game plan. I'd say triple team.
I mean, absolutely.
I don't think double team does it.
Yeah,
okay?
it doesn't do it.
I mean, triple team.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And hope for the best.
And hope. Triple
Could you imagine if he had a good game on Sunday?
Oh, I can imagine.
So no DeForest Buckner. And also Kwity Paye is a really good pass rusher. Yeah. He's out too. So that's two.
There's no reason that you should lose this one. There's no reason that you should lose this game. And I don't think they're going to. But, boy, if they can't beat this Colts team, boy, that's going to signal just terrible problems.
The hardest thing working against the Jags now, more than anything else, is because no matter how close they were in these games, and I went back and looked at all of them yesterday, they've lost 3 games by a total of 12 points. They've lost 2 games where they led in the fourth quarter, 2 games where they really did control play.
They should have beaten Miami and Houston.
They should have won both those games.
And really, Cleveland, you could make a case.
But they outplayed Miami and Houston, led most of the game, had fourth quarter leads, and lost 1 game on a 52-yard field goal at the gun, and the other one with 18 seconds to play. Cleveland, they did not outplay them. They got outplayed by Cleveland, but still almost had a chance. Britton Strange had a freaking Hail Mary in his hand. That would have been a heck of a catch. But so there were 3 really close games. But the problem is, because you didn't win any of them, now there's no margin of error. So now you can't have, you should beat the Colts, but it was just one of those games. One of those games now means you're 0-5. So there's more pressure, whether you like it or not. There's more pressure because you now can't mess up the game you're supposed to win, which is this one. This is the one you can't mess this one up.
I think the best recipe for the Jaguars in terms of getting a win on Sunday would be if the Colts took like a 17-0 lead midway through the second and the Jaguars came back to win the game. That's the kind of win this team needs. That's a win that would require grit, passion, heart. I mean, look, we'll take a win however we get it, and maybe they'll beat Indianapolis by a comfortable margin. So I'm not, but really what I need to see from this team is the ability to overcome adversity in a 60-minute game, and they just have shown no signs of that yet. So for me, I'd like to see a big comeback. That be the way the Jaguars get the win, and then maybe that can be the springboard to trying to claw your way back into this thing. Because I think Pete's right. We talked about this earlier in the week. Houston is not going and winning 11 games. I know they're 3-1,
right,
but to me, they could easily be 2-5 in their next 7. I think the Colts are very flawed, and I don't think the Titans are going to be a factor at all. So the AFC South champion, I think, could easily be a 9-win club. And so that even at 0-4,
well, it was 2 years ago.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I mean, but we've heard that the division has gotten much better, and I don't know that it has.
I agree. I don't think it has either. 9 wins, won it 2 years ago. 10 wins, won it last year. And the Jaguars were an eyelash from being that team to win it back-to-back years. This is the first game the Jags will play against a team that was not in the playoffs last year. Their first 4 games were against teams that 1 year ago were in the playoffs. Their first 4 games were against teams that had forget what they are this year, they had double-digit wins a year ago. Now, it doesn't look like Miami and Cleveland are nearly as good as they were a year ago, but nonetheless, those are the numbers. But you play 3 games in a row against teams that were not in the playoffs last year. So, yeah, I think the margin of error is gone. You have to start winning games. Doug said it when I interviewed him today on the show. He said, listen, we got to win a game. He said, we can coach talk all we want and coach speak all we want. We need to get ticked off about where we are. We need to play with a sense of urgency. We need to go win that game. There's no more talking. There's no more what ifs. There's no more close losses. There's no more moral victories. Starting now, if you want to salvage your season, you got to start winning these games.
Yeah, I liked when he told you that that they're taking it personally.
Yeah,
because that's what it's going to require.
Right.
I mean, they're going to have to get livid over this. And find that edge. And if they can find that edge, I believe they have talent. I don't think it's a roster problem. I'm not trying to sell it as it's a top 5 roster, but I think they do have a very quality roster. They have a roster that I think can compete for a division title and certainly a spot in the tournament. So I think if they can just find a taste of success, they will find that it suits them, and then they might be able to turn this thing around.
And look, I said this to Doug too. You can talk about play calling. You can talk about roster. You can talk about injuries, and there's truth to all of that. I get it. But the reality is the quarterback's got to hit the open guy. And regardless of why, and Trevor would tell you that. We're not saying anything that Trevor Lawrence hasn't said himself. He's got to hit. You can't keep having those misses. I mean, the reality is in the last 2 games, even in the Buffalo game, the 1 interception, DeMar Hamlin, he missed a wide open Brian Thomas Jr. in the middle of the field. He airmailed it. Last game, those 2 misses, the one with the double move to Thomas and the over route to Christian Kirk, were big misses. They were big misses, man, and you got to hit those. And if in this NFL, you made the point during the break, watching Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield last night, 2 veteran guys who pretty much always hit the open guy. In this league, where the league has gone today, it's different than it was 30 years ago. You really pretty much, other than maybe once in a while, you can't miss the wide open guy in the NFL.
And ball placement. I thought both Mayfield and Cousins were exquisite in ball placement. And that is an art of quarterbacking. And Trevor does at times do that. The touchdown that he threw to Brian Thomas earlier in the season in the back of the end zone, yeah, that's a pass any NFL quarterback would love to call their own. So he clearly has the ability to do it. But yes, he's got to stop missing the dunks. That he's been missing. When I mean breakaway dunks, and when you got a guy running wide open, that's what that is in terms of momentum. And so he can do it. But yeah, watching Mayfield and Cousins last night, it was almost sad because I don't think anybody would consider Mayfield or Cousins a top 10 quarterback in this league. But where they performed last night is eons above where Trevor Lawrence is right now as a player.
Tomorrow night, do you expect Mertz 2 series, Lagway 1 series, the whole game?
I would think it might even be more tilted towards Mertz, where maybe it's Lagway just for more plays within a possession.
Right.
So if I had to go one way or another, I'd say maybe even a little bit more towards Mertz. But yeah, I would certainly expect to see Lagway.
He seems locked into his series thing, so I think it'll be the series. I think it'll be 2-1 again. I would do 3-1. I might play Lagway 1 series in the half, but right now I'd ride with Mertz. It's his team.
I might even. I mean, to be honest, I might have it where if Mertz starts and is doing well,
let him go.
I might just let him go.
I would too. I would too. Lagway, whether he stays or leaves, is not going to have anything to do with how much he plays this year. It's going to be what happens with the coaching. He's going to be the quarterback next year, no matter if he stays in Gainesville and he doesn't get hurt. He's going to be the quarterback next year. No matter who the coach is, there's not going to be a portal guy come in. There's not going to be so. But I would probably stay with Mertz if he's hot. How will Brock Glenn do tomorrow night against Clemson's very physical team?
Terrible. I think I'll be interested to see if he even finishes the game. But I do think Florida State's defense will play inspired. I think they will keep the game relatively close.
Yeah, I do too.
But I just think Florida State offensively, and again, it's not all Brock Glenn's fault, just like it wasn't all Uyunglele's fault. Their running game is completely broken. So he's probably not going to get a lot of help, probably going to be in a lot of bad down and distance situations, but I'm not expecting much from Florida State's offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored 10 or fewer.
Kane score tomorrow night. We all like him to win.
I like him, yeah. I think it's pretty comfortable. The intangibles are obviously all on Cal's side with this thing, but I think because of the scare last week, I think Cam Ward really is one of the best players in the country. I'll say Miami wins 41-14. I think it's a rout.
I think Cal's pretty good defensively, JJ. I think Miami wins, but I think it's more 31-16 kind of game, 28-14.
Yeah.
I think
35-14 for me.
Yeah, right. I think Cal's pretty good defensively. I think defensively they're legit.
But they haven't seen this.
Correct.
Yeah.
They haven't seen this. Now,
they've seen Auburn and FSU.
Right. They've seen Cam Ward, but they haven't.
Correct.
But they haven't gone up against this.
Yeah.
They haven't. And by the way, I agree with you. Now, again, they still barely won last week, but I think Miami's got a special team. I think Miami's got. And Joe Zagacki made a great point. JJ, you've kind of made it too. That the Virginia Tech game to the two teams is a rivalry game. It's hard. I tell you what's funny, JJ. I did a game. One of my last years before I started doing Jags games, I think it was one of the last years, I did a Virginia Tech-Miami game. It's when Logan Thomas was the Virginia Tech quarterback, whenever that was. Honest to God, was huge. It was raining. Both teams were lousy. I don't know what year that was. It was one of the years Logan Thomas was the Virginia Tech quarterback.
Probably like 2011, 2012.
Yeah. And it was raining. I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating, there could not have been 15,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
2011.
Was that what it was?
Probably, yeah.
Could not have been.
We were 2-3.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was in Virginia Tech.
Yeah. This one was in Miami. This was in Miami. It was in what's now Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah, 2010. Okay. So 31-17 Miami lost that game.
Yeah, and could not have been. I don't know what they announced the attendance as. Could not have been. I'm telling you, could not have been 15,000 in the stadium. And again, it was raining, and the teams weren't very good. But I remember thinking this used to be a great rivalry, and now. But anyway, Miami coming back is up.
I also think quickly, Va-Tech, I think Rutgers and Vandy are pretty decent teams, and those are the other teams
I do too.
They've lost.
You know what? I do too. Vandy's better than they've been, and Rutgers is pretty.
Yeah, thank God the Gators don't play Vandy this year.
By the way, you laugh. I'm glad they don't. I've never been happier that the Gators don't play Vandy. All right, let's say hello to Matt Hays.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
All right, bro.
You know, if it wasn't so flippin' hot out there, I'd have stopped by Pubs and got you like a birthday cupcake. But it was so
too
hot, man. After that day on the course, and then I was like, man, I just got to get in and prepare a little bit for the show.
Too hot. I don't blame you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
What are you, 49 now? 48?
I'm 49, yeah. I look younger, but 49 is where it's by the way, the bad thing about radio is you can't lie. You know, people know how old you are. I mean, I'd lie like hell, but then people see you, they know anyway. So, thank you.
What's the line? Like if Florida played Vandy, what would the line? If it was in Nashville?
In Nashville, Florida would be a 4-point favorite, but would probably lose the game.
Ooh, 4? I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
Honestly, I don't.
What do you think?
Yeah, you would know better than
us. Might even be pick, actually.
But yeah, I'll tell you this. I would think Vandy would win the game.
Vandy's pretty good this year. That's number one. They're pretty
Can we get Clark Lee?
Yeah.
In Gainesville?
Yeah. But, I mean, Florida went to Starkville as a 7-point favorite, so I would think 3 or 4. What about tomorrow night? Is the Golden Knights going to come roll them out? They're going to come roll them?
You know what the problem is, honestly, is it's the apathy, man. It's just like it's the looming doom and gloom.
But you know what?
Every week at Florida, that's why he's going to get fired, man. That's it.
But it's sold out.
Yeah, it did because they're great fans.
That's by the way, that's the storyline of this year is what great fans they have. They've sold out every game in the Napier era, and they've been lousy. You know, I mean that's pretty good stuff. So
like he's been lousy.
Yeah, and
like lousy,
and they've sold out every game.
Yes,
they sold out every game. So so what's your biggest surprise in college football this year? What's I mean, nobody covers it better than you do. What's your biggest surprise? What jumps off the page? Anything?
What jumps off the page to me as much as anything, and I hate to say this because I'm giving JJ's boys some credit, is when you get the right quarterback, man, it just zooms.
Great point.
You know?
Great point.
And look at Miami. What was Miami last year at the end of last season?
7-5.
I mean, JJ was getting ready to jump off a cliff, man.
Yeah.
And they get the right quarterback in there, and the next thing you know, boom.
Yeah, and
you can look all over in college football.
He did well
like
in the
that.
portal, too, but they have a good team. They have a really good team.
You can look at different spots all over the country when you get the right quarterback, man.
Are you hearing that Florida could have opt-outs tomorrow because they're playing their 5th game, so they're up against that? Is there any whispers?
There's so much going on there right now.
Yeah.
Like he apparently put microphones or something on the defensive guys so he could hear them, so he could hear how they were dealing with the play calls and how they were adjusting the play calls. And there were, I was told,
that guy's ahead of the curve. What he is. Okay?
I was actually told today that he actually brought some players in and said, "What's going on defense?"
Really?
And the players told him, "Look, it's a bad scheme." Think about that.
Great.
Yeah.
So,
hey, this guy's ahead of the curve.
Look, we're 3 years in now. We're 3 years in.
Telling a guy who's been coaching for decades he's got a bad scheme.
We're 3 years in now, and someone finally told him it's a bad scheme.
I just got out of algebra class. Let me now tell you how bad your scheme is.
Hayes, you said the wrong thing. The bad thing is that a 19-year-old telling how bad a scheme is. That's not the bad thing. The bad thing is he's right.
Yes.
Yes. That's the bad thing. So
yeah, I mean, how many games does he need to see an historically bad defense to not think, all right, what we're doing schematically is probably wrong?
So bringing a safety on a blitz from Orlando is a bad defensive schematic design.
I think I have narrowed.
Is that not right?
I have not called that.
Yeah, I have narrowed the defensive problems to just you thought there's only 2 things: bad scheme, bad players. Other than that, I think they're fine. What's coming up tonight? What are you doing?
We are talking Gators. We are talking. It's one step closer to the Lane marriage.
Yeah, you think
we're gonna get into that? Yeah. And depending on if Florida wants them, if they want to pay the money, I definitely think.
I got one for you. We got to get out of here. I got a quick one for you. What if Lane gets one put on him in South Carolina tomorrow? What if all?
Then he's wide open.
Okay, so does the luster come off at all?
No,
not
way.
At all.
A guy that's won double digits at Ole Miss, won 11 games last year at Ole Miss.
Yep. I'm just asking.
I mean, you can go back and hire another Saban assist who's a good fisherman.
Right.
Right. You can do that if you want. Right? You can hire another Sunbelt guy if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, go get the apps. Don't get the App State guy this time.
Go ahead and get someone else like that.
Matt Hayes, he's got the show coming up. Matt, thanks, buddy. We'll talk college football for a whole hour, and you're going to love it. He does a terrific job. He and JJ will have that for you coming up in just a bit. We're out of here. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.